In the top stories, Prime Minister Drew praises efforts of National Blood Bank. Media workers across the region praise recently held tech camp, and Skellig announces planned power outages for this week. We'll be right back with the details after this.
In cricket, there are a few essentials. A bat, a pitch, a ball, some fielders, and plenty of refreshments. Enjoy the cricket with Angostura Chill. Angostura Chill, the official refreshment partner of the Hero CPL T20.
Start the new year right with extra cash when you take your next Quartz Ready Cash loan. Get $100 Quartz Cash with your $5,000 loan and double the rewards with your next loan of $8,000 or over. Get your loan now and pay nothing down and get 30 days to make your first installment. Plus, hassle-free service, flexible payment terms, and 24-hour approval. All you need to apply is your ID, proof of address, payslip, references, and a job letter. Let's ring in the new year with some extra cash from Quartz Ready Cash. Conditions apply. Quartz Ready Cash. We are ready when you are.
Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Major Newscast. I'm Jason Davis. Prime Minister and Minister of Health, the Honourable Dr. Terence Drew, has emphasized the importance of giving blood and underscored its role in saving lives. He was at the time taking part in a blood drive at the National Blood Bank on Friday, along with cabinet colleagues. The Prime Minister was quoted as saying, "Blood donation is a simple yet life-saving act that can make a huge impact on our communities. It's an honor to be able to give back to those in need, and I encourage all my fellow citizens and residents of the Federation to join me in this effort." Meanwhile, Director of Health Institutions Dr. Jensen Morton said, quote, "We're thrilled to have the Prime Minister and his cabinet visit the National Blood Bank to donate blood. Their support will help raise awareness about the critical need for blood donations and encourage more people to get involved," end quote. The visit kicks off a national blood drive that will see both public and private partners taking up the challenge of becoming blood donors. Each month, a new group will share the responsibility of donating. More than a dozen groups have already signed up to be a part of the blood drive, the expected outcome of which is a steady and reliable supply of blood and related blood products for the nation's blood bank. Media workers from across the region have praised the recently concluded tech camp focusing on crisis communications in Miami, Florida. The sessions wrapped up on Thursday with a certificate presentation ceremony. The aim of the course was to equip media workers and representatives of other sectors with skills and resources necessary to respond to a crisis such as a natural disaster. Journalist Rishad Khan of Guardian Media Limited in Trinidad and Tobago encouraged others to take advantage of these types of opportunities.
You know, it was a really good experience, and I do encourage all other journalists within the region, if they have an opportunity for something to attend something similar like this, and even this camp itself, to do take it up.
Director General of the St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service, Lesroy Williams, described the sessions as important, particularly in the case of responding to a disaster.
Communication is key to helping people to be aware of their surroundings, geographic awareness, of helping people to prepare. Communication is a big part of disaster preparedness, and communication is a big part of disaster mitigation. It's important that the communication would lead to the saving of lives.
The tech camp was organized by the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, or SEDEMA, in collaboration with the U.S. State Department. In other news, the St. Kitts Electricity Company Limited, or SKELEC, is advising the public of scheduled maintenance outages from the 13th to the 17th of February. According to a release from SKELEC, the upcoming outages are necessary to perform maintenance as a part of efforts to improve reliability. The release said that on Monday and Tuesday, the scheduled outages are expected to take place from 9 a.m. to noon. The areas affected will be Earl Mourns and Bird Rock on Monday, and Crab Hill, Fig Tree, Farm Housing, Sir Gillies, and Mount Idle Sandy Point on Tuesday. On Wednesday and Thursday, power will be out from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The areas affected will be Shadwell Housing Project on Wednesday, and Lemon Hill, Lodge Village, The Grange, and Otley's Housing Project on Thursday. SKELEC is also asking customers to please note that the electricity supply may be interrupted later and restored earlier than the scheduled times. Persons who remain without power after the scheduled outages are asked to call 465-2013 or 600 from a mobile phone to report the outage. And finally, a cornerback for the Kansas City Chiefs with St. Kitts and Nevis roots will be playing in Super Bowl 56. ABC News in Fayetteville did a special report on Joshua Williams and his family.
He is, by all means, I would say, supposed to be there. Because, ever since he was little, that's something he dreamed about. That's something he talked about.
I was invited to the childhood home of Fayetteville native and now Kansas City Chiefs cornerback Josh Williams.
Now, how old is he there?
His father, George, showing me pictures that tell the story behind his son's success, playing football since he was 5 years old.
And he didn't like losing. He would literally, tears would come out of his eyes when he lose a game. Losing sometimes is part of, winning. You got to learn how to lose so that you can become a more gracious winner.
This wall is dedicated to Josh's football accomplishments.
Well, all of these are gifts. The two from the top is from the school. The bottom one was done by one of his line brothers.
The 23-year-old is the youngest of 3 children. Brian Johnson is Josh's cousin, but the pair were raised like brothers.
He might be in the league, but I'm still a better football player than he is. I'm just going to throw that out there. But it's great to see him come this far because I know the work he's put in.
I asked him to share something few people know about Josh.
Probably one of the funniest dudes you met, but he's also one of the most level-headed.
Williams was the first HBCU student drafted into the NFL since 2020. His college football coaches calling him an impressive player. Now, Fayetteville State University leadership seeing his success as a model for HBCU college football recruitment.
I said to Josh, when you can be the bridge, that for many cases where we only look at Division I players, that there are a number of Division II players in the nation that deserve a shot, and you can be the one, Joshua.
And just in case you were wondering, Josh's father has a prediction for the game.
And the Eagles are going to get dusted, but it's going to be a nice close game.
I'm in Fayetteville. Akila Davis, ABC 11 Eyewitness News.
And as a celebration of diversity, Joshua Williams will be sporting a decal on his uniform referencing St. Kitts and Nevis as part of his heritage. Coming up, we'll have another look at some of the stories from the past week. Stay tuned.
Here are your Horsewood Value Mart IG Value Club Valentine's Specials.
Running February 9 to the 22nd.
Our Value Club Blue Tag Specials. IGA and Essential Everyday Honey Beer, $15.99. Quaker Granola Bars, just $11.99. Or Ida Fries, $18.99. Breyers Premium Ice Cream, $26.99. Tide Liquid Detergent, $34.99. Suavitel Fabric Softener, just $19.99. And now, our very low weekly
value deals. Post Honey Bunches of Oats, $12.99. Snack Pack Puddings, $5.99. IGA and Essential Everyday Cream Cheese, $6.49. Welch's Grape Juices, $15.99. Mr. Clean Liquid Cleaner, $12.99. Dial Liquid Hand Soap, $5.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Tell them in Spanish.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí a Value Mart.
Want to get away? Now you can.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your National Bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
We embarked a couple of years ago on a transformation program, and that is essentially to push the company into the 21st century. We're seeking to continue to be relevant, continue to be the leader in the business community, because if you stand still, somebody else is moving ahead of you.
We now employ about 110 persons on Nevis across the group. Back then we probably had half of them.
TBC impacted people's lives. Have about a handful of people who will tell you, TBC is my life.
Supporting stakeholders, obviously very, very strong and committed staff, and customers who believe in us.
Well, the scholarship program is, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best in St. Kitts.
Almost every year you get a student who says, one day I'm going to be Prime Minister.
I was interviewing for the Warrell Tyson Scholarship Program. Eventually was told a few weeks later that I was a successful recipient. Those soft skills, I think, were tremendous and still serve me even up to today.
The Criminal Records Rehabilitation of Offenders Amendment Bill was passed on Wednesday following its presentation and debate at National Assembly. Here's more.
The new law will expunge the criminal records of persons who were convicted of the cultivation of 5 or less cannabis plants or who were imprisoned for less than 3 years. On Wednesday, Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, introduced the bill, leading the debate.
On the passage and gazetting of this bill, the criminal records of persons convicted of cultivating cannabis, those who cultivated 5 or less trees, those who were fined, those who receive imprisonment of 3 years or less will be expunged. Expunged, Madam Speaker. This will include a greater number of persons who can have their records clean and can once again join society in its fullness and pursue their dreams.
Member of Parliament for constituency number 5, Honorable Sean Richards, rebutted that the parent legislation should reflect the change sought by the government.
Because here it is that in terms of this particular piece of legislation, you're saying that persons who would have grown 5 trees in the past, that would not be part of their criminal record. However, as it is, you still can't grow 5 trees within your home without having, whether it is a police confiscating them or some police officer might take a decision to bring a matter against you because legally you are not allowed to grow those 5 trees, as had been discussed when we were looking at the legislation.
The Prime Minister stated that such charges and records negatively affect young people as it denies them careers in medicine, housing, education, loans, and job opportunities. The law now goes to Governor General Her Excellency Dame Marcella Leiber GCMGJP for her signature.
Members of the general public got a chance to speak with government officials on various land issues this past week when the Ministry of Sustainable Development hosted a land fair. Carla Berridge tells us more.
The Ministry of Sustainable Development kicked off its Land Allocation, Normalization and Distribution Land Fair on Thursday at its Blazon's parking lot location, where persons were given the opportunity to engage the ministry's workers to resolve land-related matters. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Shez Tyson Dorr, spoke with ZIZ about why the ministry decided to host the two-day fair.
Decided to come and meet the public. We had so many in-house issues. We have reorganized our system, and so we wanted to gather information and also to share information with the public, to let the public know what is happening in the Ministry of Sustainable Development when it comes to land. Because everybody is saying, we can't pay, what is going on? So we are here to tell you, this is the reason why. This is why you can't pay. We are having these issues, this is what we are doing. We are reorganizing, so it's information we are sharing, and at the same time we are gathering information from the public.
She outlined some of the issues the ministry is hoping to address by hosting the fair.
We found letters without lot numbers, especially last year. And so we are seeking to correct that. We are not taking anybody's land. If we find that you are one of those persons who had a triplicate letter, we are going to reallocate you somewhere else. We'll have a conversation with you and say, listen, this is what we found. Where else do you want to go? How can we help you? The ministry is about helping. The ministry is about getting it right. So we are not taking anybody's land. So we want to make that absolutely clear. We are just ensuring that everybody gets their rights. Everybody has a right to own land in St. Kitts. We're ensuring that is done the right way.
The ministry is supported at the fair by partner agencies including NHC, the Ministry of Agriculture, Planning, the Treasury, Urban Planning, and the Development Control and Planning Board. Ernest Webster of the Department of Land and Surveys explained the role of land evaluators.
We deal with sometimes what happens is that somebody may have a title for a piece of land, and because we see it there for a long while, we walk out by nobody own it. And somebody may come and apply for it. We go in the field and we verify that there is not an owner, and the person who is applying has been living on the land or occupying the land for sometimes the cutoff point we go is 10 years, 15 years.
The land fair continues on Friday from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. P.S. Tyson Dorr said persons who are unable to make it to the fair are invited to visit the Ministry of Sustainable Development to gain assistance in resolving land matters.
This past week, media personnel from St. Kitts and Nevis attended a two-day crisis communications tech camp in Miami. More in this report. The Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, in collaboration with the U.S. Department of State, is hosting the two-day workshop dubbed Tech Camp. The sessions are being held at the Hilton Blue Lagoon Hotel Conference Room in Miami, Florida. The Federation is represented by Jason Davis of ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation, Lesroy Williams of the St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service, and Jermaine Abel of Open Interactive. The workshop aims to bring together journalists, government information officers, government officials, and social media influencers from countries throughout the English-speaking Caribbean to equip them with digital tools and training to decipher disinformation in crisis situations such as natural disasters. Public Affairs Officer of the United States Embassy to Barbados, the Eastern Caribbean, and the OECS, Donald Maynard, spoke of the importance of tackling the spread of misinformation.
Without accurate, fact-checked information, we're putting people's lives in danger. And regardless of the source of the disinformation, we want to make sure that the public knows what's going on in a timely fashion so that they can prepare, react, and be resilient to natural crises.
The Tech Camp runs from February 8 to 9, and topics on the agenda include finding the truth in a rapidly changing environment, understanding the role of the media, communicating the disaster management cycle, and communicating quickly and effectively in a crisis, a roadmap for best practices. The 30 participants are drawn from Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Dominica, Grenada, Guyana, Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, the Bahamas, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and St. Lucia. Jason Davis for ZIZ News. After the break, illegal mining in Brazil said to be killing Yanomami people, and